Welcome to Toffee TV. It is the instant match reaction. Manchester United 2, Everton 0. Toothless, isn't it? Again, a toothless performance from the Toffees. 11 games without a win. Sorry. This run is, it's leaving us in a position obviously none of us want to be in, with 10 games to go, looking over our shoulder, having to keep an eye on Luton, who have obviously got 2 games this week. It's just another game where pretty much the same things happening all the time. Decent shape, don't look too much under threat. You know, have a decent amount of the ball, create openings, but the final execution is poor, and it has been since we last won, and it's the same old every single week, which is my main issue is with it, is that it is every week. You know, there'll be a lot of arguments over whether it's the players or whether it's the manager. The players aren't good enough. That's obviously very, very clear. The players are just not good enough. This collection of Everton players and this Everton squad is really poor. I think the time has come and gone for people blowing smoke up some of these players' arses. I really do. Whether it's Mathew, whether it's Harrison, whether it's James Garner, whether it's McPartland, whether it's whoever plays at right back, whoever plays up front, the time has come to cut the shit and stop blowing smoke up these players' arses. They're not good enough. They're so limited that it's unbelievable. You know, I keep on being told that this fella's great and that fella's great. Just because a player improves and is better than they were doesn't make them a good player. It just makes them a better player than what they were. And this squad is full of players who are very, very lucky to be at Everton Football Club. And that's a simple fact. And that's defenders, midfielders and centre forwards. There's very few standouts. And the standouts genuinely are being linked to leave the club. It's as simple as that. The way we play is obviously part of the players we have. I think the fact that we don't have or don't use attacking full-backs is a major issue, and will continue to be. As much as Mykolenko has improved as a defender, he's so poor in the final third. He offers nothing. And that is a big issue. And it's the same at right back. That because no one offers anything, the manager has decided to play a centre-back there, who was dreadful today, I thought. Genuinely dreadful. And that's where we are. And I think it's listen, I'll talk about Sean Dyche in a minute, but I just think it's time people stop blowing smoke up these players' arses, because they're not good players. James Garner is bang average. Mykolenko is bang average. Dwight McNeil is bang average. And we've got lots of these players in our squad. And I'm always hearing people, they're amazing, this player's amazing. And they're not. They're not, though. And I won't even say the words I want to say, in case someone's feelings get hurt by them. But these players are just very, very poor players who far too many times, I'm told, are amazing. The style of play is based on, I think, the players we've got. And I understand the manager in many ways doing that. But unfortunately, we also have the type of manager who is so restrictive in the way he plays that what do you expect? The manager... We can't score goals, and I see loads of people saying, you know, that is the team. But at some point, you have to look at the manager and say, well, what are we doing in training? What are we doing in training to create opportunities? All I see every game is a lot of huff and puff and this getting things off set pieces. Well, the set pieces that's dried up. Putting James Garner on the set pieces means the set piece. How on earth James Garner's taking set pieces after what I saw last week in the injury time added on time against West Ham? I'll never know. His set pieces were dreadful today. Well, who makes that decision? They don't just make that decision themselves. The coaching team and the manager makes that decision. It's not a case of sack the manager, by the way. It's just looking at him and saying, what can he do better? I've seen a few people on Twitter saying to me, well, he's getting the best out of these players, or would another manager do better? Well, I heard the same thing when Frank Lampard was the manager. Can anyone else get any better out of him? And Sean Dyche came in and got better out of them. And I think that's the standard I'm looking for. Sean Dyche has been quoted as saying that when things are tough, they often look at what a new manager would do. Well, then do something different then. Apart from putting better in the side, you've done nothing different. You haven't changed anything. All you've done today, you've brought subs on today after an hour when they should have been brought on at half time. But they haven't even made the right subs. I mean, the glaring error to me was the right back. We needed a more attacking right back, and you've left them on the pitch. If you're going to change something, but don't keep going on every game and letting it be the way it be. And this is my argument with the manager, is that nothing changes. He's changed the centre forward. That's it. He hasn't done anything else for the team today. It's the same old, and he's like, well, we get opportunities. Clear-cut chances, I would say, are still at a minimum, I'd say. So we have to create more chances. Because today we've made a few, but they're not really... How many saves? I mean, Onana hasn't had to save anything, has he? He hasn't had to save anything, and that's on the players. But we're talking about clear-cut chances. We don't make a lot. There was nothing from set pieces today, bar I think Toffee's in the second half, which sort of headed towards goal, but it was loops, so it was easy to clear away. Manchester United, not a particularly good side. We showed that today. We had loads of the ball. We had loads of opportunities around their box. And they scored off two absolutely brain-dead penalties. Brain-dead. I mean, the first one is... It's soft, as in we've given away soft. It was a penalty. It was so soft to give away. Just stay on your feet. Just stay on your feet. And the second one, just stay on your feet. But we're not. We let a player run. And Onana can't touch him because he's been booked stupidly for one earlier on where he's took the player on the outside the box. And we've touched him in the box where you just can't do that. And he's not actually going anywhere, even though he's in the box. He's going across the box. And it's two penalties. And really, I mean, Branthwaite's got away with one at the end because it's offside. But it's just brain dead defender. And once we go one down, there's no confidence that we're going to get it back. The players don't look confident. They're just going through the same old. And just got to hope that this break and going away means that, I don't know, there's enough of a break to change things up. But something has to change, and I'm not advocating for sacking the manager, by the way. I think that would be a stupid thing to do. I think there's people often talk about this manager bounce. I don't think it's a real thing. I think you might get a game or two, but it soon flattens itself out. But I think the manager has to go away and have a good look at what he's doing and see if it's working, because the last time we won a game of football was in December. Was in the middle of December. It was the last time we won a game of football, in the Premier League. And that's not acceptable. I mean, those runs have got Benitez the sack, they've got Lampard the sack. And just because we have more chances and we stay in games and we don't concede as many goals isn't a reason to not have a good look at this manager. This manager has a lot of people protecting him. And And I understand that. No one's going to be calling for him to be sacked in the media, and there's a lot of fans I appreciate that really like him, who, you know, will look at the whole picture, and I get that. But this still doesn't mean he shouldn't be doing more. You know, he's dug into his tactics. Fair enough. He's dug into his tactics. He likes the way we play, even though it hasn't got us a win for 11 games. And he hasn't changed it. He's changed it, as I said, he's changed the centre forward. But what about, like, changing the formation? What about going three at the back and using Mykolenko as a centre back and playing with wing backs? How about changing something like that? How about, if you haven't got the players, then change the formation. Do something a little bit different. Something that shocks the opposition. The last time we won, we played 3 at the back against Burnley. You know, and it worked. It really did work that night. Bring in a striker coach. You've got 3 weeks. Bring in a striker coach for the rest of the season. Get some confidence. This thing of, like, no, we're looking at everything, but you're not. You're not looking at everything. Because every game, we as fans see the same thing. Today we saw the same thing happening. We have the ball, we have chances, they go down the other end and score, game over. We huff and puff for the rest of the game, we have a few chances, and that's it. They've got a second goal and the game's over. And to be honest, it got to a point in the game where they just let us have the ball, because it was like, well, if we let you have the ball, we'll win it back and counter-attack you. Second half, they just did to us what we did to Burnley, away. Yeah, you have the ball, because you ain't scoring, and we'll just take it off you and counter-attack you. There has to be some kind of change in the next 3 weeks. I would massively advocate for bringing in a striker coach and to work with those strikers all the time and get that confidence going. A change of mentality. Don't count Wolves as 3 at the back, because we were all dead on our feet that day. I don't care. I don't care about Wolves. Right? I don't care about Wolves if we played 3 at the back that day. Every single player was dead on their feet that day. Talking in general. What we're doing at the moment isn't working. So there has to be some kind of change. If it does, listen, 3 at the back has worked for Everton. I'm not advocating 3 at the back all the time. I'm just saying, swapping Beto for Dominic Calvert-Lewin does not solve the problem. We still don't get enough crosses in. We still don't create enough chances. And it doesn't help the way we play. It really doesn't. We've got 2 centre forwards. And I said this when Dom wasn't scoring. We've got 2 centre forwards who don't get enough of the ball. So therefore they ain't going to score the goals. Something has to fundamentally change, because we've got 10 games left. And we're looking over our shoulder. And it does not matter how many points we should have. It's how many points we have. You have to live in this reality. Not another reality of, oh, actually we've got 31 points, and actually we're in 13th place, and actually we're all fine. We're not. We're looking over our shoulder, and we're on an 11 games without a win run. And that has to change. And we've got Bournemouth next. And then, yes, we've got games that you look at and go, these are winnable games, but they are winnable. But you've put so much pressure on yourself as a team during that run that you have to win them. And you're in April, and suddenly that pressure's building, because we're all if Forest win a game and Luton win a game, then we're all looking over our shoulder going, oh my God, look how close we are. And if we're the ones who are not winning games, then we're the ones who are not winning. We're the outer form team in the bottom half of the table, apart from the bottom 2. Let's get that right. We are the ones that are staring right at the trapdoor. So something has to change. And as I said, I'm not advocating for the manager to be sacked, because that will never happen anyway, because there's nobody to sack him, and there's no money to sack him. So have a look at changing things up. Yes, they're going away. That's good. Bit of warm weather training. That's it. That's good. You know, for the next week or so. And obviously then it's the international break, so some players will go away and we have to get back. You know, then it's the last part of the season. But there has to be some kind of difference in the team. I looked at that. Just little things today don't burn me head out. Bringing Ashley Young on and playing him where we played him. Not bringing like Seamus Coleman on. Or what are you doing? What are you doing? The manager, I think, I'm not saying he's run out of ideas, but I don't think he has many ideas in the first place. I think he doubles down on what he wants. And if it's not working, he just says, "We'll try harder at what you're doing." Which I think you have to look at sometimes outside of your field of expertise. And I don't know whether him and his coaching staff can do that, because they're so indoctrinated in what they do and what they've done for years and what they think gets you out of trouble. And this is why Burnley sacked them. Is because they were so stuck in what they were doing, and everyone can see that it was not working, and they had to try and do something different. He can do something different. He can look to change things. He can look to change the formation. He can look to change the makeup of the team. He could play 3 at the back and 2 up front, and catch teams out. We're doing the same old thing every single week, and the results are the same. You know, Harrison on one side and McNeil. Nobody plays with wingers like that anymore. They play with fullbacks, or they play with wingers like Manchester United, who are like Garnacho's, like Marcus Rashford, who are like lightning. That's how teams play now. They don't play with slow, wide wingers who are just there to throw in crosses. No one plays like that. They play with attacking fullbacks and midfielders who tuck in, and then have an extra man who goes into. You know, if you've got 2 fullbacks who go forward, Decore can play where he is, but you actually have another midfielder, so you have 4 midfielders, and one of them's Decore, let's say. That's how teams play in the Premier League. We're so far behind, and as I said before, it is the makeup of the team. Like, we don't have that many choices. Of course we don't. It is down to the and you have to look at it, don't you? Both ways. The team isn't great. And you've got a manager who won't change from what he's doing. And I don't know where that gets you. I really don't. Well, I've got a feeling I know where it's going to get us if something doesn't change. And it's worrying, but at the same time, at no point of that game was I sitting there like with my head in the hands, because I've seen it so many times, and I think we're all very much immune to it now. I think we're all just sitting there. I don't know if anyone gets really upset. I mean, people who watch these videos every week know I don't get particularly upset anymore. I don't go over the top about players or what they can and can't do, because it's just become a week in, week out thing that we've just got used to, isn't it? And it's at some point it's going to bite us on the arse. It really is, because XG isn't coming back. XG is not going to save us, because I've said this from day one. From day one I've said this. XG does not score goals. It does not score goals. It does not pay you back if you've got strikers who can't hit the target. It just doesn't. So you can throw that out the window. You know, all the people who, it'll pay us back. It doesn't pay you back if you haven't got players good enough. You can make all the chances you want. If you don't have players who can score, then it ain't going to pay you back. You need good players to put the ball in the back of the net. And what's mad is you watch teams every week who scoring goals, they just make scoring goals like the actual thing of putting it in the back of the net. The easiest thing in the world. Just the easiest thing in the world. And yet for us it looks like climbing Mount Everest, scoring a goal or a couple of goals in a game. It seems almost impossible. Almost impossible. And something has to change within the setup. It's as simple as that. As I said, something. I personally would bring in a new coach. I really would. I'd bring in a new coach. I knew someone who works with the strikers all the time and find out what's going on. I don't know whether they have a psychologist, and if they don't, get one. Because I think it was brought up there towards the end of the game, is that you could see the players every time they got in front of goal just tightening up. Where teams who score goals don't do that. Every opportunity, there's a freedom, and there's almost like a casualness about the way they put the ball in the back of the net. Watching Arsenal recently and watching Liverpool, and these are good sides, but it's just they're so calm and so cool, and everything, they make things look so easy, and yet we're like body language is the clambering up. Yeah, and as I said, Man United weren't particularly good. I can understand why Fulham went there a couple of weeks ago and beat them. You know, do me a favour, stop saying who's paying for the coach. Everton Football Club would pay for the coach, because I'm telling you right now, if we get relegated, it's going to cost us a hell of a lot more money. So stop making that stupid comment. Who's paying for the? It's not like we are. We're not like we're like we've got a begging bowl. You know, people still get paid at this football club. People still get paid. You pay for it like you pay for everything else. You go and get a coach and you bring them in. Simple as that. You change something, because if there's an arrogance that what they're doing is the right way, then they're wrong. And if that's the way they think, then we might as well get a new manager, because it isn't working. And I'm sure what he says and what he does are two different things. But I do hope that he just brings somebody in, because it's getting to a point now where I think most people know. I think people know the situation. They understand the situation. They understand that, you know, sacking a manager right now just wouldn't make any sense. Who would you bring in? How do you attract someone to come in and all that kind of thing? It just wouldn't make any sense. In my eyes, anyway, it wouldn't make any sense. The manager massively frustrates me. The players massively frustrate me, because they do. The players are not only are they poor, but they don't. The players don't look to me like they're fighting for their lives. They don't look like they're fighting for their lives, and that's a worry as well. So, just on the coach thing, right, a striker coach, there are literally coaches out there that's what they do. They work on part-time basis and they go into football clubs. We used to have one. We used to have one who come into Everton who done that. There are coaches out there who work as part-time coaches who will come into your club. There's loads of these people out there who work with clubs, throwing coaches, finishing coaches, set-piece coaches. There's a lot of these people out there. You bring them in on part-time things, and you short-term part-time contracts, and there's a lot of them out there. If you stand still in football, you go backwards. This football club's been doing that for 25 years. It's why we are where we are, because of certain Mr. Kenwright. And it's the same now. If you stand still, we will go backwards. If we think that what we're doing is right, we will be relegated. If other teams are moving forward, it's as simple as that. We can't rely on other teams to be worse than us when we are poor. So there you go. A very, very poor afternoon. Again, there'll be loads of people out there who go, "Oh, that was a good performance. That if it only hadn't just been for those two penalties." Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there because I'm just going to rant and rave the same things. I'll be back soon to do my player ratings, and make sure you check out Baz's videos as well. Do us a favour, download the SofaScore app for us. The link's in the description. Really helps the channel out as well. I'll be using that particular tool to help me with my player ratings in a minute. So there you go. See you in a minute. Bye.